probably would have went for it.
I'm with Jay.
Go for it.
You got 3. Okay, if it was 4th and 1, he goes for it, right? It's 4th and 3, so now he's thinking, we got to pick up 3. But the bottom line is,
I'd rather 3 is a lot easier to get than 50, whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly.
What was it,
56-yard field goal.
56-yard field goal in the rain. It's just picking up the extra. I just, even though that defense is stout in the run game, I don't know, man. I felt like I'd have just took my chance and went for it on 4th and 3.
Think about even if you kick the field goal, you're leaving Tom Brady 47 seconds or whatever.
Yeah, but he got to show me though.
But all he got to do is get him field goal range. It's a what is it at that point, a 2-point game? It's a field goal.
I get it, but he would have had to show me. He just would have had to show me.
I think he'd have shown you.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, also, if Falk had a bad plant leg, if you know that, right? Like if that's
I don't even know what that means, man.
Like, like soccer, or obviously, I'm not even a field goal kicker. I played soccer my whole life, though. Like the leg that you use to plant when you go to kick. So your left leg, obviously.
I get it, but the whole, the selling the plant leg.
Anything around kickers, you're not trying to hear details on that.
It's just it's plant leg. I'm like, okay, man, that ain't got nothing to do with him missing that field goal.
That hug was so fast they had to play it in slow motion to make it look.
Well, you wasn't gonna hug him for a long time. I mean, you knew that he was just gonna give him a quick. And it took him a minute to get to him because he probably was, it took him a minute. They stayed there, the cameras. They waited, and he finally got the little 2-second shot.
I mean, the whole circus of everything, like the whole event. I mean, everything from as a player, it's all about your routine. That's always what it's been like for me, though, Key. Like I like this routine before I go into my game. I like to stay focused. And if you're Tom Brady yesterday, your routine had to be so different because from the time you get out, there was a report that says he usually goes on the field. He didn't go on the field before a game. He stayed in the locker room. He met with Robert Kraft. Like all the he comes out on the field, sees Josh McDaniels, has a quick embrace. Like all these different things, just the emotion that led up to the game is so different than what Tom is used to facing. I'm not saying that factored into him having a poor performance, but it does partake to some degree about how you prepare for a game.
But did he really have a poor performance? Or did he have a performance that he was going to have against the New England Patriots? See, I don't think he had a poor performance.
Let's rank
the weather, though, the rain. I mean, it seemed like he was pressing at the beginning of the game a little bit. Like he didn't have his number one target in Gronk. It just seemed like things were
right.
different.
So let's take the factors and rank them. Okay, Key, you came closest to getting this right. The kind of game it was going to be. Like you didn't predict rain, but you might as well have, right? It's that kind of slogging game. It was going to be closer than people thought. It wasn't going to be pretty. All that. But let's take the factors because, Jay, you're saying one of them is Brady wasn't in his routine. To me, the biggest factor is Gronk's not on the field for Brady. But someone else might say it's the defense because Belichick knows Brady. If you had to rank the reasons the game turned out so close, what would they be?
I would start off by saying, one, Belichick and the New England Patriots know Brady. 2, Belichick and the defensive staff knows Brady. 3, there was no Gronkowski, and if it was a Gronkowski, guess what? They know him too. So that's kind of
familiarity. Familiarity is the main thing.
It rains in Tampa. It rains literally in Tampa in the middle of a monsoon in games. Yeah. And he played 20 years in that weather. So that's nothing.
I think, but I mean, it seems like the opening game, some balls were sailing high. Some balls are right outside the catch radius of Antonio Brown. It seemed like, or Mike Evans. It seemed like the typical passes that Brady would make, it seemed like they were just slightly off. Like, we were even talking like just slightly off. Like passes that were typically, hey, like these were passes that will get you 15, 20 yards. I mean, balls are just off. It felt like he was pressing to a degree.
I think the other thing we have to recognize is Mac Jones had a nice game, right? He's early in his career, he had a nice game. But
why are you laughing?
Tom Brady was, however many similarities people want to point out, he was the kind of quarterback where early in his career, he won the close games. He did things to win these close games. That was the kind of game where when they had Brady, even as a young guy, they won that game. And it's been a couple years since Brady's been gone. And those kind of games, they started losing with Cam. And they're now 1 in, 3?
Yeah.
Yep.
on the season. They're not 2-2. They're not on the verge of being a winning team because they're losing these kind of games. Isn't there, like, as similar as Mac Jones is in certain respects to Brady, and he can turn out to be a very good quarterback.
He ain't Tom Brady.
He ain't Tom Brady. He ain't Tom Brady.
When they kept saying that on the telecast, I wanted to mute it so bad. I'm like, man, stop. Just stop. I get it. He's tall. He's a pocket passer. He can't run. I understand all that. But he does not – there's nothing that made me think Tom Brady when I watched him. Not one thing. And he did a good job for what it was. He really did do a good job for what it was. Looked scared at times, but he was trying to run one time. I'm like, man, just throw the ball out of bounds, man. He was so spooked. At the end of the game, he almost threw the ball right to Devin White. He got so scared. He was just like, I was like, jeez.
He's a very young quarterback, but when I think about the Patriot way and the whole thing, is it Belichick or Brady? And, of course, yes, it's both. But doesn't it seem like the luck that Belichick and Brady had all those years? That's really what people are talking about. The apparent luck, which we know there's something more going on there when it happens for 20 years. Didn't it seem Brady took that to Tampa with him, and now that magic is gone in New England?
I don't think the magic is gone in New England. What was your famous line that you love about luck? Luck is the
residue of design.
Residue of design. So if you're talking about luck, I mean, look, the strategy that Bill had in this game, which is what I wanted to ask Key. And everybody's, if you had you said when you were ranking those things, you would say, hey, yes, the defense, the game plan. What about the game plan specifically did you see with your eye that made you say, oh, this is why they know Tom Brady? This is what they're doing to Tom Brady.
Well, first it was confusion for a guy who is as smart as Tom is and seen every defense. Pre-snap reads, he see one thing. Post-snap read, he sees something different. That's when you get off target, where you see high throws or you see him hold the ball longer. I mean, he held the ball. Sometimes he's holding the ball 4 and 5 seconds because what he saw pre-snap read wasn't what it ended up, meaning like he thought they were going to blitz, they back out. He thought something was coming from one side, it wasn't there. It was like not seeing ghosts, so to speak, but just a lot of confusion, different guys in places that he didn't anticipate them being based on the film that he probably watched in previous years or even leading up to what he saw over the last couple games. So when you confusing people, you giving them one look and they think it's that look, and then you go into something else. And people wouldn't dare say he was confused. That would be like the worst thing in the world. How could you confuse Tom Brady? No, he was confused. He was confused. And that's okay because they understood. Another thing, hit him, knock him around. And from that standpoint, that's exactly what was happening.
Time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Here is Tom Brady and what he thought of Bill Belichick's game plan.
They did a good job. Yeah, they did a good job. I mean, they got a good team. They got good cover players. They got a good rush. Got some good hits on me tonight, so I'll be a little sore tomorrow.
You got to knock him out. That's what you got to do. Got to hit him, knock him around, push him down on the ground, step over him like Matt Judon did, make him so. You see when Matt Judon stepped over him, he got mad and was like, I'm Tom Brady. What
Matt
are you doing?
Judon is that whole defense.
Matt went after him, and that's what you have to do.
Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. Then there's what happened before and after the game. And in the Bucs locker room, by the way, that's after Jay has this from Dr. Pepper.
College football fans, after an offseason that felt a little more off than usual, Fansville and Dr. Pepper invite you to celebrate because college football is heating up and fans are hyped. Yes, it's the most wonderful time of the year again, the season of Saturdays, when rivalries run deep and nacho cheese dip runs even deeper.